y'all, I'm really curious if Miss Cheerilee is actually gonna show up. We ain't seen nor heard anything from her ever since last Friday. And the classroom was only open this morning 'cause we of course didn't lock it when we left. So I guess she really ain't been here since.
True. In fact, no pony has seen her all weekend. I asked Rainbow Dash when I ran into her, but she also hadn't the slightest clue. Even Rarity apparently had no idea where Miss Cheerilee was, even though she's otherwise like omnipotent or something.
It's called omniscient, Scootaloo. And yes, even my sister couldn't tell me where Miss Cheerilee was all weekend.
So you maybe think she bailed out of Ponyville or something?
I wouldn't blame her, to be honest. As wrong as she may be with all her topics, I can understand how much frustration she must have built up over the past months. Especially considering that she once even saved all of our lives. And how do you repair, Apple Bloom? By being the worst of you whenever you get the chance.
If by the worst you mean simply questioning all the racist shit towards unicorns, then I guess you're right. Sure, I ain't forgotten she freed us from George's prison, but is that really gonna excuse all future bullshit she was gonna pull? I don't know, at some point even a life dad is weighed out if some pony just keeps acting like an asshole.
No one forced you to, Apple Bloom.
I ain't been me yet. Fuck you, Sweetie Belle.
Still, she is objectively right. I agree that Miss Cheerilee wasn't exactly helping matters to prevent conflict, but some pony has got to be better. Or else the cycle of hate is only gonna repeat itself again and again.
Well, ain't that just pony nature, Scoots? Eye for an eye, no? If some pony talks shit to me, I'ma talk shit back.
Ensuring that there will never be an end to sad shit.
Why do I even gotta be the better pony? I'm a filly. It's my good right to not know better.
That you of all ponies would ask that. You might be little, sure, but that doesn't mean you're anything behind Miss Cheerilee when it comes to mental maturity.
Don't you mean rather like she ain't nothing ahead?
Tomato, tomato.
You know, it's funny if you think about it. You always gotta lecture me about calling out Miss Cheerilee, but you yourselves ain't no better calling a mental kid like that.
Well, yeah, there's no denying that. I mean, given all the dumb shit she says. But the difference is, we for one only think our part. You're the only one who's gotta go and say it out loud.
Well, sorry, but that's just the way I am. Outspoken.
Good morning, my little ponies. I'm sorry for being a little late, but I had to sort some things out beforehand. All right, let me begin today's lesson by saying this. I'm sorry for the way I was acting last week.
What y'all say?
You heard me right. I spent a lot of time this weekend thinking about how this all went on Friday. And I came to the conclusion that I was in the wrong for the way I was acting. It was definitely not my place to lose temper like that and use such foul language in a classroom. Especially you, Cutie Crusaders, deserve an apology. I do not hate you. I was just at my wit's end. The way that whole situation escalated was highly unprofessional on my part, and I again want to say, I'm sorry, students. I realize now that I was simply asking too much from you kids. You're still so young and inexperienced. How on Equestria's Earth would you be able to understand what I'm trying to say? I know I make the strong impression on many ponies here that I simply hated unicorns as a whole, solely for being unicorns, but that's not true.
Ain't it now? And what the fuck else makes you hate them?
Well, it's the injustice they represent. The injustice I had to face in my life. In my life, I have lived through so much unfairness, discrimination, and hate. I just didn't want any of my fellow Earth ponies to experience the same. The sadness, the confusion, the fear, the anger, the hatred. Do you think I like feeling like this? You haven't felt true hate yet if you do. It's a feeling I wouldn't wish on any pony.
Question, Miss Cheerilee. If hating's so bad as you're saying, why don't you just stop the hating, huh? Might be a good start if you just stopped hating on unicorns all the time. And maybe eventually you would stop feeling it.
See, that is exactly the kind of childish naivete that I meant. It doesn't work like that, Apple Bloom.
Still, I find it hard to believe that y'all really suffer from talking all that shit. I might have even thought you're enjoying ripping on unicorns.
Fine. I admit it, I might enjoy it. I enjoy the release it brings me to let all my bad thoughts out, but having them at all is bad enough.
Look, Miss Cheerilee, I get what you're trying to say. That all your anger just needs to be vented from time to time. But it doesn't help the fact that everything you're always saying about unicorns is no less racist than anything you might have heard.
Yes. Calmly looking at it, it is ignorant to claim that what I'm saying is true for any and all unicorns. But I just can't help myself feeling like that. I do believe that there is an inherent oppressive thought pattern that forms in the heads of unicorns as they grow up. I don't know if it's genetical or has to do with their magical abilities or their upbringing or just society as a whole, but something has made the unicorns in my life the way they were, and I don't want any pony to experience what I had to.
Well, you gotta admit that way of thinking perfectly fits the definition of racism. At least the actual one.
But what else was I supposed to come to think given how I grew up? In small little Ponyville, where unicorns and pegasi only recently started moving. We only ever saw images of them in our biology books. And even as a filly, I couldn't help but feel like it was just unfair.
Like what was unfair?
The way they were, and the way we were. Don't you think I never dreamt of being a unicorn? Or a pegasus? Being able to fly or cast wondrous magical spells? But I can't. I had to learn the hard way that in Equestria, earth ponies have their place. And it's beneath the others. I wanted to prove them wrong growing up. I wanted to make more of myself. Do you think I always wanted to become the teacher of this small-town school? No. When I finished my school career, I was looking to go to Canterlot and apply at their grand university. But when I showed up there, they seemed confused. They didn't expect me to be an earth pony. And all the grades I had to show for myself suddenly meant nothing. Because Canterlot University is a magic-oriented school. I had to learn that earth ponies are simply not needed in the world of national education. Every major uni I applied to, I was invited to because of my grades. But everywhere, in every city, it was the same. Main focus magic. Eventually, I had to face facts. All my competence in the educational were meaningless. Only a small place like Ponyville would need an earth pony teacher. So I returned home and had to accept my insignificant little destiny. You see, this is why I think the way I do. Of course I know I'm being unfair and generalizing, because my life has shown me that earth ponies are always worth less compared to unicorns or even pegasi. And that's what I swore to change, so that no other little earth pony filly has to see her dreams shatter before her eyes.
Jesus. Miss Cheerilee, I had no idea. I'm so sorry.
Me too. I can't imagine how much that must have hurt.
Yeah, I gotta admit that's a pretty good reason to be the way you are. But still, you gotta understand that a lot of things have changed in Equestria ever since you were young. That discrimination ain't nearly as present nowadays as y'all make it out to be.
Which doesn't mean, however, that there's none of it left at all, Applebloom. It can't be denied that there still is a lot that needs to change.
Yeah, fine. But what happened to you, that ain't Sweetbelle's fault. Or any other unicorn CEO, or in Ponyville for that matter. You know, in general, I find that whole discussion pretty retarded, not gonna lie. Like, the problem in this country is supposedly systemic racism. Like, the system of government and whatnot is biased towards elf ponies. Cool. So why is it the individual ponies that gotta change now? You know, the ones that don't got nothing to do with government or any of that systemic shit. Why did them need to change who don't even cause no problems?
Because that is the only way real change is achieved, Applebloom. The change must happen inside the ponies' heads. And school's the perfect place to force the thinking of young ponies early on. To make sure that future mayors, corporate CEOs, and other important officials learn which mistakes they cannot repeat.
Listen, principally there ain't nothing wrong with that. But maybe y'all ought to think over your methods. 'Cause being a young kid who don't got no bad thought in your mind and then getting told you're inherently racist and responsible for oppression, getting all this blame loaded on that you don't know anything to do with, ain't exactly causing no sympathy there. Especially knowing unicorns.
It isn't about sympathy, it's about change. Who cares whether they like it or not? Sorry. I just let this topic get the better of me again. But I did say I wanted to stop this. Therefore, yes, Apple Bloom. If that is what you feel, then that's fine. I leave you fools to think what you will from now on, if we all agree that in the future, we're gonna keep the politics out of our classroom.
What?
I think this is the best solution for all of us. I will keep quiet about it if you all will as well. Let us simply agree to disagree, okay?
No fucking way. Y'all ain't serious. I mean, this is basically all your life. And you're just gonna give up fighting the patriarchy and shit?
Oh no, don't be ridiculous. I would never give up the righteous fight. But I've accepted that my efforts in this class are futile. Still, if there are any ponies among you who do want to learn about the ever-present oppression of Earth ponies and unicorn supremacy, I will be hosting an after-class lesson for those interested. On my desk, there's a participant list. Simply write your name in if you want to take part. I will hold these lessons every other day at 4 p.m. till 5:30. I understand that I probably can't expect many participants at first, but the list is there if you want it. I would shake it regularly. Now, enough of all that. Let's jump into our new way with a topic I think it's high time you all should learn. Basic math.
Math? Excuse me, Miss Cheerilee, but ain't math racist as hell? Or how was that? Didn't unicorns invent math to ridicule Earth ponies?
Apple Bloom, please, this question does not belong in this lesson. If you want to discuss this topic, feel free to write yourself into my after-school class. But for now, please remain quiet and listen. All right, I begin with simple addition. If we have 1 apple in our basket and take 3 more into it, how many apples are in there now?
Fucking unbelievable. Y'all believe this bullshit? Who the fuck she thinks she's fooling? I mean, just like that, she's gonna drop her own personality? Ain't she like a straw man who's nothing but that? I ain't giving her today to snap out of it again. I'm serious, y'all. Before this day is over, she'll be back to hating on unicorns. You mark my words.
I don't know, Apple Bloom. The whole way she was acting, it did seem really serious. And maths, of all things. We all know how she always despised maths. Like, the only time Miss Cheerilee taught us maths, it wasn't actually Miss Cheerilee, but instead a clone agent from Celestia's lab.
Ah, so you mean she might be a clone again? Or brainwashing Shannon Man's camp?
I doubt it, honestly, Apple Bloom. Didn't Twilight shut both those places down? I rather think she really did the improbable and managed to develop as a pony.
Yeah, right. And I'ma stop saying necker. Y'all even listen to yourself, Sweet Bill? Nah, I ain't buying this shit. She's up to something, I'm sure of it. She probably just building her jabs against unicorns more subtly, so I don't got it so easy to call her out anymore. But fair chance, Miss Cheerilee, I seen through ya.
Man, Apple Bloom, now in all honesty, tell me, how much do you hate Miss Cheerilee?
What the fuck kind of question is that? Just like the ordinary amount. You know, the way you just hate a pony who does nothing but talk shit all the time. And like hell she's just done with that, no way.
Seriously, AB, I almost get the impression you don't want her to stop being a leftist straw man.
Don't be ridiculous. I just don't believe this changes all.
But what I'm still wondering is, why do you even hate her like you do? What did she ever do to you?
Well, first and foremost is the constant woke shit she always says all the time. It's just real annoying is all, you feel me?
I mean, sure, but there has to be more to that. After all, me and Scooter also didn't like all her racist theories, but we never, full-on hated her for it.
Fine, if you want to know, it's actually 'cause of how that cloning plot went. It was our plot. Our great time to shine, and how does it set off? With one of her fucking racism lessons. And in prison, who was there to save our asses? Fucking Miss Cheerilee! How the fucking pony who keeps saying the dumbest, most racist shit ever at the same time be some badass resistance fighter? That just don't make any sense to me.
And that's all.
Hardly. But think about it. She totally stole our spotlight in that episode. We should have been the ones defeating classified and freeing everyone.
Oh man, not this again. Why can't you just accept that we're only normal fillies?
'Cause we ain't. We are the QEMA Crusaders. And I for one won't just let this here thing slide. I'ma go ride myself in the after that stuff.
Wow. You really are dependent on that conflict, aren't you? Well, fuck if I care, but don't be surprised when all she's talking about there is the same old shit she always said.
Well, that's what I'm counting on. Some pony's gotta tell her how wrong everything is she says. And the way it looks now, it's gotta be me. I'ma ride myself in right now, you watch.
These two are really made for each other, aren't they, Sweetie Belle?
Yes, some ponies just wanna have something to hate. But if it's all the same, I don't give a fuck. At least our normal lessons are now looking to be a little more peaceful. As much as AB allows it, that is.